Hey guys, so we are returning to the Forgotten Books of Eden, and we are reading the Secrets Book of Enoch, or the Book of the Secrets of Enoch. We're going to read chapters 2 through 10 today. Apparently, I started this before I thought I finished it because I labeled it incorrectly, so I apologize, guys, that we're coming back to this after we jumped to the Psalms of Solomon, and then I was about to do Odes to Solomon, and I was like, why is there so many more books of the book of Enoch that I did not remember reading? And I checked YouTube, and apparently I only read the intro in chapter 1. So we're going to read chapter 2. But I apparently am choking, so I do have some water over here. Un momento. Okay. Okay, so let's dig in, guys. Okay, so my dad, who died, you guys know this because if you watched other videos besides denomination text and Bible reading, like my singing and dancing videos, I did a tribute to my dad, and I did in storytelling. I read his obituary and his eulogy that I wrote, both of them. But he had this thing where whenever it was time to eat, he'd go and he'd rub his hands together. It's the cutest, hilarious thing ever. So I don't do that for food, but I do that when I'm excited about something else. So I didn't used to do that, but I started doing that after he passed away to honor him, I guess. So let's dig in, guys. This can be my new signature thing, my Ron Burgundy thing. Stay classy, San Diego. Okay, guys. Speaking of which, his namesake, Baxter. Say hi, guys. Say hi, YouTube. I'm all snuggly and cozy right now. Okay. This is actually uncomfortable in my stomach, so I'm just going to read it this way. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. The Forgotten Books of Eden. And this is chapter 2. The book. Let me back up. The Book of the Secrets of Enoch is what it's called. Okay. Chapter 2 we are on. The instruction, how Enoch instructed his sons. Listen to me, my children. I know not whither I go or what will befall me. Now, therefore, my children, I tell you, turn not from God before the face of the vain, who made not heaven and earth, for these shall perish, and those who worship them. And may the Lord make confident your hearts in the fear of him. And now, my children, let no one think to seek me until the Lord return to me. Chapter 3. Oh, you can't see my feet. Okay. Chapter 3. Of Enoch's assumption, how the angels took him into the first heaven. It came to pass when Enoch had told his sons that the angels took him on their wings and bore him up on the first heaven and placed him on the clouds. And there I looked, and again I looked higher and saw the ether. And they placed me on the first heaven and showed me a very great sea, greater the earthly sea, the first heaven. Is that the Garden of Eden? What are the three heavens? By Don Stewart. This is bluebible.org, guys. Rakia, the first heaven, is described as being made of water and is the home of Adam and Eve, as well as the angels of each star. The seven heavens by Wikipedia. I have never heard of this, you guys. What are the three heavens in the Bible? A third concept of heaven, also called Shammai, Hishayaman, heaven of heavens, is mentioned in such passages as Genesis 28, verse 12, Deuteronomy 10, verse 14, and 1 Kings 8, verse 27, as a distinctly spiritual realm containing or being traveled by angels and God. Oh, I'm going to have to do a whole new thing on this now. Okay. Let's open this up. And this. So Wikipedia has 7 heavens. And Blue Letter Bible is talking about 3 heavens. So it's our immediate atmosphere, outer space, the sun, moon, and stars, and the home of God is what he's saying. I'm going to have to read this as a separate thing, guys. Okay, then, according to Wikipedia, there are 7 heavens, refer to 7 levels or divisions of the heavens. The concept is also found in the ancient Mesopotamian religions, can be found in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. A similar concept is also found in some other religions, such as Hinduism. Some of these traditions, including Jainism, also have a concept of 7 earths or 7 underworlds, both with the metaphysical realms of deities and with observed celestial bodies such as the classical planets and fixed stars. To each of the 7 heavens corresponds one of the 7 classical planets, known as antiquity. Ancient observers noticed that these heavenly objects, the moon, Mercury, Venus, the sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, moved at different paces in the sky, both from each other and from the fixed stars beyond them. Unlike comets, which appeared in the sky with no warning, they did move in regular patterns that could be predicted. They also observed that objects in the sky influence objects on Earth, as when movements of the sun affect the behavior of plants, or movements of the moon affect ocean tides. Others believe the 7 heavens are related to the 7 stars of Orion, Big Dipper, Little Dipper, and the Pleiades, 7 sisters, according to ancient Western astrology. We just keep getting deeper and deeper into this, you guys. Okay. All right, back to this. Okay, so we are in chapter 3. Of Enoch's assumption how the angels took him into the first heaven. It came to pass when Enoch had told his sons that the angels took him on to their wings and bore him up on to the first heaven and placed him on the clouds. And there I looked, and again I looked higher and saw the other, and they placed me on the first heaven and showed me a very great sea, greater than the earthly sea. Chapter 4. Of the angels ruling the stars. They brought before my face the elders and rulers of the stellar orders and showed me 200 angels who rule the stars and their services to the heavens and fly with their wings and come round all those who sail. Chapter 5. Of how the angels keep the storehouses of the snow. And here I looked down and saw the treasure houses of the snow, and the angels who keep their terrible storehouses, and the clouds whence they come out, and into which they go. Wait, did I skip one? Why is this like the same? Which they go. Okay, so that's 5. So chapter 6. Of the dew and of the olive oil and various flowers. They showed me the treasure house of the dew, like oil of the olive, and the appearance of its form, as of all the flowers of the earth. Further, many angels guarding the treasure houses of these things, and how they are made to shut and open. Okay, then we have chapter 7 of how Enoch was taken on to the second heaven. Who is calling me? A number I don't recognize. Okay. Of the how Enoch was taken onto the second heaven. And those men took me and led me up onto the second heaven and showed me darkness greater than earthly darkness. And there I saw prisoners hanging, watched, awaiting the great and boundless judgment. And these angels were dark looking more than earthly darkness, and incessantly making weeping through all hours. And I said to the men who were with me, wherefore are these incessantly tortured? They answered me, these are God's apostates who obeyed not God's commands, but took counsel with their own will and turned away with their prince, who also is fastened on the 5th heaven. And I felt great pity for them. And they saluted me and said to me, man of God, pray for us to the Lord. And I answered to them, who am I, a mortal man, that I should pray for angels? Who knoweth whither I go, or what will befall me? Who will pray for me? Sorry, I got like super zoomed in. Okay. Where was I now? Forgotten books. Okay. This is chapter 8. Sorry, guys. Roman numerals are not my strong suit. Okay. The assumption of Enoch to the third heaven. And those men took me thence and led me up on to the third heaven and placed me there. And I looked downwards and san the produce of these places, such as has never been known for goodness. And I saw all the sweet flowering trees and beheld their fruits, which were sweet smelling, and all the foods borne by them, bubbling with fragrant exhalation. And in the midst of the trees, that of life, in that place whereon the Lord rests, when he goes up into paradise. And this tree is the ineffable goodness and fragrance, and adorned more than every existing thing. And on all sides, it is in form good looking and vermilion and fire-like, and covers all. And it has produce from all fruits. Its root is in the garden at the end, earth's end, and paradise is between corruptibility and incorruptibility. And 2 springs come out, which send forth honey and milk, and their springs send forth oil and wine. And they separate into 4 parts, and go round with quiet course, and go down into the paradise of Eden, between corruptibility and incorruptibility. And thence they go forth along the earth, and have a revolution to their circle, even as other elements. And here there is no unfruitful tree, and every place is blessed. And there are 300 angels, very bright, who keep the garden, and with incessant sweet singing and never silent voices serve the Lord throughout all days and hours. And I said, how very sweet is this place? And those men said to me, chapter 9, the showing to Enoch of the place of the righteous and compassionate. This place, O Enoch, is prepared for the righteous, who endure all manner of offense, from those that exasperate their souls, who avert their eyes from iniquity, and make righteous judgment, and give bread to the hungering, and cover the naked with clothing, and raise up the fallen, and help injured orphans, and who walk without fault before the face of the Lord, and serve him alone. And for them is prepared this place for eternal inheritance. Chapter 10. Here they showed Enoch the terrible place and various tortures. And those 2 men led me upon to the northern side, and showed me there a very terrible place. And there were all manner of tortures in that place, cruel darkness and unillumined gloom. And there is no light there, but murky fire constantly flameth aloft. And there is a fiery river coming forth, and that whole place is everywhere fire, and everywhere there is frost and ice, thirst and shivering, while the bonds are very cruel, and the angels fearful and merciless, bearing angry weapons, merciless torture. And I said, woe, 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 how very terrible is this place. And those men said to me, this place, O Enoch, is prepared for those who dishonor God, who on earth practice sin against nature, which is child corruption after the sodomitic fashion, magic making, enchantments, and devilish witchcrafts, and who boast of their wicked deeds, stealing, lies, calumnies, envy, rancor, fornication, murder, and who accursed steal the souls of men, who seeing the poor take away their goods, and themselves wax rich, injuring them for other men's goods, who being able to satisfy the empty made the hungering to die, being able to clothe stripped the naked, and who knew not their creator, and bow down to soulless, lifeless gods who cannot see nor hear, vain gods who also built hewn images, and bow down to unclean handiwork. For all these is prepared this place amongst these for eternal inheritance. Chapter XI, what is that, 11? I don't know, guys. Okay, here they took Enoch up on to the 4th heaven, where is the course of the sun and moon. Those men took me and led me up on to the 4th heaven, and showed me all the successive goings, and all the rays of the light of the sun and moon. And I measured their goings, and compared their light, and saw that the sun's light is greater than the moon's, its circle, and the wheels of which it goes always, like a wind going past with very marvelous speed, and day and night it has no rest. Its passage and return are accompanied by 4 great stars, and each star has under it 1,000 stars to the right of the sun's wheels, and by 4 to the left, each having under it 1,000 stars, altogether 8,000, issuing with the sun continually. And by day 15 myriads of angels attend it, and by night 1,000, and 6 winged ones issue with the angels before the sun's wheel into the fiery flames, and 100 angels kindle the sun and set it alight. Footnote is rapid transit. 85 verse 1. It just says 1 through 6 on here, so I don't know what page 85. It's circle on the wheels, which goes always like wind going past with very marvelous rapid transit. Okay, 12. Of the very marvelous elements of the sun. And I looked and saw other flying elements of the sun, whose names are phoenixes and chakradiri, marvelous and wonderful, with feet and tails in the form of a lion and a crocodile's head. Their appearance is empurpled like the rainbow. Their size is 900 measures. Their wings are like those of angels. Each has 12, and they attend and accompany the sun, bearing heat and dew as it is ordered them from God. Thus the sun revolves and goes and rises under the heaven, and its course goes under the earth with the light of its rays incessantly. Okay, my battery's about to die in 36 minutes. So I was only going to read till 10, and then I got lost. So I guess we'll go to 15, guys, so I have 2 chapters left. Okay, the angels took Enoch and placed him in the east at the sun's gates. Those men bore me away to the east and placed me at the sun's gate, where the sun goes forth according to the regulation of the seasons and the circuit of the months of the whole year and the number of the hours, day and night. And I saw 6 gates open, each gate having 61 stadia and a quarter of 1 stadium. And I measured them truly and understood their size to be so much, through which the sun goes forth and goes to the west and is made even and rises throughout all the months and turns back again from the 6 gates according to the succession of the seasons. Thus, the period of the whole year is finished after the returns of the 4 seasons. Chapter 14. They took Enoch to the west. And again, those men led me away to the western parts and showed me 6 great gates open corresponding to the eastern gates, opposite to where the sun sets, according to the number of the days, 365 and a quarter. Thus again, it goes down to the western gates and draws away its light, the greatness of its brightness under the earth, for since the crown of its shining is in heaven with the Lord and guarded by 400 angels, while the sun goes round on wheel under the earth, and stands 7 great hours in night and spends half its course under the earth. When it comes to the eastern approach in the 8th hour of the night, it brings its lights and the crown of shining, and the sun flames forth more than fire. Chapter 15, and we'll wrap this up, and then I'll continue next time. How are we at time? We're at 18 minutes. Okay. Chapter 15. The elements of the sun, the phoenixes, and the chakradri broke into sun. Then the elements of the sun, called phoenixes and chakradri, break into sun. Therefore, every bird flutters with its wings, rejoicing at the giver of light, and they broke into sun at the command of the Lord. The giver of light comes to give brightness to the whole world, and the morning guard takes shape, which is the rays of the sun. And the sun of the earth goes out and receives its brightness to light up the whole face of the earth. And they showed me this calculation of the sun's going. And the gates which it enters, these are the great gates of the computation of the hours of the year. For this reason, the sun is a great creation, whose circuit lasts 28 years and begins again from the beginning. Okay, guys, we're going to leave it at that. And we'll pick up with chapter 16 next time. And I think when we get to the end of Enoch, I'm going to talk about the 3 heavens, the 7 heavens, and then there was also the levels of heaven. Where is that? What are the 3 levels of heaven? Where did I find that? Degrees of glory. That's going to be another one. Okay, guys. So those 3 we will talk about next time. Well, not next time, but before we finish Enoch. Okay. Bye.